Lotte, you will come after that. Deputy Speaker, it was on my part. The Deputy Speaker had left that information with me. And it's, Honorable Passaris, please. Go to the next one to you. Yeah, on the left side, on the right side.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is such an important thing. I decided I need to actually get it right from the word go. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I would like to say that as I rise to contribute to the State of the Nation's address and to acknowledge the progress the country has made under the leadership of our President, the Honorable William Samoei Ruto, the gains in agriculture where production has surged and imports have significantly been reduced are really visible in households. Leather exports have grown, milk production has increased, tea earnings have risen from 138 billion to 215 billion. I mean, we need to appreciate what was contained in the State of the Nation address. I believe that sometimes Kenyans have gotten to this point where we thrive in negativity. We want to hear what is negative.
Honorable Lotte, this is not how you operate in Parliament. Can you go back and do exactly the way you're supposed to do when you want to go to the other side? So you go back first of all to the bar, come on the other side, pick that thing, then go back and then come to where you were sitting before. No, come to this side where you had to pick the paper from. And come and pick the paper and go back. You pick the paper and then go back.
Lessons learned.
Too bad these rules were, we got it from the Westminster system and we just have to, now you can come and sit where you are.
He's a first timer.
Proceed, Honorable.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, I have to start from the beginning. I suffer from OCD, so when you interfere with me like that, I lose my chain of thought. So, Honorable Speaker, and my colleagues, I rise to contribute to the State of the Nation address and to acknowledge the significant progress our country has made under the leadership of His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, our 5th President. The gains in agriculture, where production has surged and imports have reduced, are being felt directly by our people. Tea earnings have risen from 138 billion to 215 billion shillings. Milk production has increased from 5.3 billion liters. Leather exports are up by 56%, and nearly 8 million animals have been vaccinated. These are not abstract figures. They are real improvements in the lives of Kenyan households. In the healthcare sector, the President mentioned that over 27 million Kenyans are now registered under SHA. 107,000 community health promoters are active in every ward, and the availability of medicine has improved drastically. In education, over 76,000 teachers have been hired and 24,000 more expected in January. TVET's enrollments have doubled from 353,000 to 737,000, and 23,000 new classrooms have been delivered. Here in Nairobi, we had such a challenge, transition from primary to secondary, because we did not have classrooms. And that meant that our young boys dropped out and then ended up in the estates. Then they're exposed to drugs, they're exposed to early teenage pregnancies. So the classrooms are making sure that our students' transition is happening. These are national milestones we must appreciate even as we call for more. Mr. Speaker, let me state without hesitation, I support the president and the broad-based government because at this moment in our nation's history,
Maybe if you go, it's a lot of humming in the thing, but just
I know,
give it a bit of distance.
I feel that too.
Okay, that's okay. Okay. Okay, proceed.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, let me state this without hesitation. I support the president and the broad-based government because at this moment in our nation's history, there is no alternative to unity, stability, collective responsibility. Kenya cannot afford divisions. We rise only when we rise together. Sorry. Kenya cannot afford division. We rise only when we rise together. Governments, opposition, parliament, and the people. Together, we can build this country. This whole idea of multi-party politics, we fought for it, we got it. But at the end of the day, my party leader, I can't call him the late, Raila Amolo Odinga, he believed that even if I was running for a position in government and I didn't get it, I can't be in opposition. I need to work with the government. And people sometimes used to ridicule him. But look at every stage that he joined government, whether it was the handshake, whether it was the nusu mkate. At the end of the day, it was because of his love for this country. His love for making sure that united, a country that is divided cannot stand. So by uniting, it meant that Kenya can now look at issues and be in a position to provide what is needed for its citizens. And so I think we should learn from that. It shows that Kenya is bigger than all of us and that the future demands collaboration, not confrontation. The president spoke clearly about and powerfully about our development journey. He reminded us that nations like Singapore, South Korea were once our peers, and that if they could rise, so can we. So that means you have a dream, you have a vision, you have a yardstick. Before we crawled, we were stagnant. We got stuck, COVID, the Ukraine war. Today we are walking, and with discipline, predictable policy, governance reforms, investor confidence, we have entered a marathon. And if we stay the course, one day we'll be sprinting to prosperity. Mr. Speaker, infrastructure is at the heart of this transformation. The president outlined the unprecedented scale of investment, tarmacking 28,000 kilometers of road, dualing 2,500 kilometers of highway, modernizing JKIA, expanding our ports, upgrading SGR to Kisumu and on to Malaba, beginning January 2026, commencing the dualing of Rironi, Naivasha, Nakuru, Mau Summit within this year. This is how nations move from potential to prosperity. But ambition must be met with discipline. A shilling must build a shilling's worth of infrastructure. Not inflated contracts, not ghost projects, no wastage. So the president also emphasized the need for crowds in private capital and public-private partnerships to unlock global investments. This is a smart path. Kenya cannot continue overtaxing, borrowing unsustainably, but PPPs can only succeed in an environment of stability, transparency and efficiency, and the rule of law. Do you know, one of the biggest problems that I feel Kenya has, and sometimes I wish that elections were every 10 years rather than every 5 years, because we are perpetually in election mode. I mean, from the time we finish one election, we are campaigning for the next. We need to actually look at our election laws and make elections. I mean, I was in South Africa, and they were having elections, and you could hardly even tell. You know, we have to make sure that we protect the business people. I must also address why, Mr. Speaker, I must also address why many Kenyans may not have heard the speech. In terms of sports, all right? I mean, there were things that I felt the president has done so much that there are certain things that he didn't capture in his State of the Nation address, like the amount of things he's done in sports, the infrastructure he's putting in sports, the motivation he's given to our sportsmen, like look at what he did for Harambee Stars during the AFCON. If you go to our stadiums, you're proud of them. And I think Talanta is going to be one of the best stadiums that we have in this region. And I believe that, the president didn't mention it, but it's a key employment opportunity for our youth, and it will also keep them out of trouble. And I feel that there's an area there that, should have been captured on what he has done for the state in.
Give us some additional.
Yeah, Wanjala, I had 20 minutes.
Proceed. Yeah.
As we celebrate progress, we must also confront what remains unsolved. So it's, there are other things. So my take was sports should have been mentioned in the State of the Nation address. The issue now, Mr. Speaker, there's an issue that is really bothering me. Much as we're going to create all the funds that we're going to create and move away from borrowings, I feel that we have a problem with pending bills. The country needs to really assess its pending bills. It needs to make sure that it clears the pending bills. We've got PWDs, women, youth that are owed money. And I feel that a lot of people are suffering because of this. So I would have loved to hear about what are we going to do about the pending bills. What is the way we're going to solve it? Because this is actually a big problem. I like the fact that we talked about Nyota. The president launched it recently. But I also think, when I look at Greece, the country of my father, everybody serves in the military by compulsory. And I think NYS should be compulsory. We should take all the youth. Because if we don't do that, then what happens is our youth are left. And we should continuously make sure that we can adopt them. But then, for us to do that, we must also confront population. I feel sometimes very sad that religious leaders don't want to talk about population. They feel that, and I've even heard Sauti Sol sing a song about, every child is sent with a plate. The fact is, every population has to be planned. And if we don't plan our population, then our resources become overstretched. It is really sad to see a mother with 8 children, and she cannot even afford to pay for 2 of them to go to school. That means uniforms, books, and then that child will actually fail. And when that child fails, cannot even be accepted as a police. All right, or any other job in the future. So we have a problem, and I think I would have loved to hear the president talk about what the nation is going to be doing in terms of population and making sure commodities are available. I know we've had a lot of improvements in SHA, and I think the president's very bold. What he did with SHA, moving us from NHIF, a lot of people thought, why do this? But the fact is, NHIF was not working. Right? But I would also like to see those who provided services, genuine services, right, paid. Because when we don't pay the people that provide the genuine services, we lose credibility of people partnering with government. And on the issue of SHA, one of the biggest problems that I have, while the president says that you go to hospital, you get treated, I don't know whether it's the hospitals that are doing this, but investigations are being charged. You need to pay for your x-rays, your scans, your PET, and we're buying for all this equipment. So I don't understand. We're paying the doctors, the technicians. Why are we charging for investigations? Why are we not paying for implants? You've got road carnage in Kenya. We've got people that are in hospitals that are actually not having their surgeries because they can't afford implants.
Additional 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I feel that these are certain areas. When it comes to housing, do you know, I want Kenyans to understand, just look at your own house, the one you're managing. Like, I have my house, I have my business, and I struggle. And now you have this one man called William Samoei Ruto, who dared to run for president of Kenya. And now he's the president of the country. And we expect him to be a miracle worker. Even the things that you should be asking God, you're expecting William Samoei Ruto to give you. He is working very hard. And he's bold. For me, if he has to, there's some people say, he's a dictator. But if you have a benevolent dictator and he gets things done, it is not bad for a country. A democracy that doesn't deliver, I would rather a benevolent dictator. And at the end of the day, sometimes I feel our constitution lets us down. It lets us down because every time you want to move, Nairobi is full of garbage. You cannot even fix the problem of garbage. Why? Because every time the governor is trying to give the contract out, somebody goes to court. So when they go to court, it stops the whole contract. So for me, when it came to housing, the journey that the president walked, because I'm in the housing committee, to get housing, to make sure we had that fund dedicated to housing. Everybody laughed and rubbished him, and everybody starts thinking, oh, he's going to make millions. Maybe he owns a cement company, maybe he owns a steel company. Let me tell you, look in your neighborhood and look at the houses, the dignity that our people are going to live in. Mukuru, 14,000 houses. It's going to be a whole town in itself with every facility. Kenyans, wake up, start praying for your president. Start helping him. Start seeing how you can contribute. We need to have the resources. We need to make sure we raise the money without raising the taxes. But you can't say we don't want taxes and we don't want a fund. We don't want to sell some of our assets to raise the money so that we can become independent as a country. So I believe that the president of Kenya now is on the right path for this country. We're going to move from poverty to prosperity. The dreams of our forefathers are going to be attained, but they will only be attained if we stop having this culture of social media. The only thing that works and moves and trends is when you hate somebody, when you insult somebody. Why not try to make things trend with praising somebody? Why not try to come up with ideas on how you can improve your country? Somebody sent me a text recently asking me, can you give me 20,000? I want to buy a photocopy machine. I told him, why didn't you apply for Nyota? You could have got 50,000 and bought 2 photocopy machines. Kenyans have to be aware. Stop looking at the things that say, the negative things about the government. This is your country. By the way, no matter where you go in the world, I want to tell you because I'm well-traveled. And I'm half Greek, and Greece is also a country that I have. But at the end of the day, this country, Kenya, is beautiful. We have challenges, true. Give our president a chance. And let me tell you, he will not disappoint. Maybe, somebody said he's exceeding expectations. I say he's approaching expectations. And he will exceed expectations. And he has learned now to move ahead and forge ahead for you, no matter how you insult him, no matter how you bring him down, no matter how you make him trend. He's even accepted the name Kosongo. Call him Kasongo, I'll dance to it, let me continue with the work. He's working for each and every one of us. And every area that he's touching, start appreciating. Sometimes I feel, if you are a teacher who got employed, who was unemployed for so many years, 76,000 of you, the police, the NYS recruits, or your student, your student is in school, help, so if you are having all those benefits, do you ever sit and think for 1 second, let me pray for this president of ours because of the peace and stability this country is enjoying, because of the job that I have? No, the first thing you're going to do is to say, my salary is not right, my salary is being taxed. But why is it being taxed? Because we have a population that needs to be sustained. We need to hire doctors. We need to hire nurses. We need to buy medicine. We need to build houses. We need to build infrastructure. So for me, I really pray that Kenyans will wake up to the idea that your enemy is not my enemy. The deputy president was impeached. Why? Because William Samoei Ruto saw that this man is not going to help me deliver on what I need to deliver. So now he has Kindiki as his deputy. And he is working without somebody who is ambitious, trying to undermine you so that he can become president. I believe that if anybody is thinking right for this country, you don't cut them short. And that's why I'm a 2-term politician right now. Even if I don't get my 3rd term, I want to make sure that the president, William Samoei Ruto, if God keeps him healthy and well, gets his 2nd term. Because the projects that he started, which the other side are saying they're going to stop immediately, they come in, are going to be a disaster for this country. Because you're going now in a marathon to fix the country, and then you want to stop it and start from zero. Never allow yourself to be convinced that way. Somebody's enemy is not your enemy. Hate can never develop this country. Division, tribalism can never develop this country. I have Kikuyu blood, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be a Kikuyu. I want to be a Kenyan. I want to be a Kenyan that supports any president in that office. It does not have to be a Kikuyu, all right? It can be anyone. It can be somebody even from, there's a time we had Godana, and people were saying, this is presidential material. Sadly, he died. But anybody can be a president. We can even have a woman president. But the thing is, let us come to the reality. Read how many Kenyans who are going online and rubbishing the State of the Nation address have actually read it, looked at the highlights, looked on the ground. You have one social media guy going around taking pictures, showing you things are not happening, and then you believe that. You'd rather believe a lie than the truth, even if the truth is facing you right there. Even if you're employed as a teacher by the government of William Samoei Ruto because he has worked hard. Mr. Speaker, At the end of the month, when I receive my salary, or when I'm traveling somewhere and the parliament can pay for me to go to the Pan-African Parliament, buy my ticket, pay my per diem to go there. Do you know, I thank the president. I thank God for the president, because that peace and stability that enables me to earn, that enables me to have the GAF fund to support the people, that
Give her an additional 2 minutes to wrap up.
That enabled us to empower thousands of Nairobians to be able to get into projects. Do you know the fact that that money was available to help us move from this state to the other? Have you ever driven on a highway and just drive? You're driving on that highway. It is got no potholes. It is a new road. It was completed by William Samoei Ruto, but you're still on social media hating him. You're not understanding that he budgeted to complete that. I was in Mombasa recently. The dual carriageway that is coming up in Mombasa all the way to Kilifi. I mean, this but, and now you've got this petroleum deal coming out. Wait until you see the social media. They'll start talking about, this one is making this deal, this one is making this. Nobody wants to look at the big picture. The big picture is the president and we're going to get there. So what I want to tell Kenyans, start appreciating the little that you have, because more can never come from God. If the little that has fallen in your lap, you cannot say thank you. So if you're asking yourself, why am I unemployed? It's because you're beating the person who could employ you every single day on social media. Why is my salary not coming up? Because you're beating the person who can make this economy grow and double your salary. Why did I not get the right treatment in hospital? Because you're beating the person who can do this for you. So the person who can do this for us, the head of this country, the one who dared to run for president, the one who's working tirelessly to keep this country together, is William Samoei Ruto. And I'll tell you one thing. We are lucky that God chose him at such a time as this, because with the crisis that we faced, we had a problem as a country. And also, I want you to know that William Samoei Ruto is not just the president of Kenya. He is also a distinguished leader. He's the Gaddafi that we should have had for the continent of Africa. The kind of things that I've seen him do in the Africa Union is for the entire continent. All the barriers that we are breaking are going to be good. Kenya has already stopped visas for so many people coming in because we want to make Africa grow. We want Africa to be able to achieve its objectives from the forefathers. We are no longer the dark continent. We have a lot of issues, but we need people in the right offices. And William Samoei Ruto is just that one person in the right office in Kenya. We have Kagame on the other side. These are leaders that can steer this economy. Ramaphosa trying to get into the G7. Was it? The G7, the G10?
G20.
G20, sorry, the G20. I mean, for South Africa. That is good for Africa. So I want Kenyans to understand. Start thanking God for the peace in this country. Start thanking God for the unity. Start seeing your neighbor as a Kenyan, not as a tribe. Forget about tribalism. Anybody who's reuniting for tribalism. And then on the other side, let me tell you, they want to come in with power, but what's the agenda? The agenda is they have none. So we have somebody on the seat with an agenda, with a roadmap to move us, again, I want you to hear this, from developing to developed. Let that man have the life, the energy, the wisdom, the determination that God has given him up to now until we reach 2032. Because then you will look back and say, thank God I made the right decision. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dr. Mutunga, the Chair of Agriculture, you